there is a statistics that says more than 95% of all traders fail during the first year. It means only 5% of traders go through to the second year. But according to YouTube, social media in general, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the other social medias, all traders make millions, Lambos, Rolexes, thousands and thousands of percents each and every day. Doesn't matter if market goes down, market goes up, everybody's winning on social media. Let me assure you, it's fake. To become a successful trader and to become successful day trading, can you handle the pressure? Day trading, trading in general, day trading in specific, requires mental strength to navigate financial swings, long hours, being solely responsible for your profits and, most important, for your losses. Work ethics, mastering trading, day trading takes time, effort, dedication. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but with the right work ethic, some of us will succeed. Emotions, how do you handle your emotions? Trading, day trading is a very emotionally taxing with the potential of significant losses. It's important to have the capacity to handle those losses and to think clear under the pressure. Know your worth. While financial gains are a common motivation, it's crucial to have well-defined senses of personal values beyond money. Stay grounded and focused on the long-term goals. Continue learning each and every day. Trading, day trading is like a marathon. It requires ongoing educational and improvement. Stay with realistic expectations. Preserve through the setbacks and embrace the journey. Are you ready to embark this magnificent journey? Hey there, Tamir from FibonacciTraders.com here with the weekly market recap. Please hit a like, subscribe, share with friends, and without any further ado, let's hit the charts. Weekly on the right side, daily on the left side. Always zoom out, zoom in to get a better point of your price action. SPY 444, resistance 435 is the support. We can also say 430, 428 is the support for the downside. Breaking up and above, we are heading towards the 455 together with this green trend line. Above it on the weekly, we are heading towards 471 and then all-time highs at the 480 area. If we zoom into the daily, we can see last Friday open gap to the upside, same gap that was here during June 20. Again, same area, open gap to the upside. In my opinion, this gap will get filled during next week. Next week, only 3 days and a half of trading. I'm expecting not much of a movement. We do have here also a double top scenario, but for now, SPY is in an uptrend. QQQ on the weekly, we can clearly see that the 373, 374, very tough resistance. Only by looking left, we can understand why. It was resistance over here, resistance and support over here during September of 2021. So now, once again, resistance 360 to the downside is the support. On the daily, open gap 366 is the support. Below it, this gap at the 365 will get filled. Continuation towards the 372 and then above it 380 and 390. We do have here this trend line that helps us to identify that on the short term, only during June, the Qs made to the upside till now 6.6. Let's see where Qs will be heading during July. Dow Jones 344, very tough resistance. Only by looking left we can see that since April 2022, 1 year, 2 months of strong resistance. 337 to the downside is the support. We do have here, if you're a pattern seeker and you're a pattern trader, you can see here left, head, and right shoulder. Breaking up and above, in my opinion, 363 will be the next resistance. And the daily gap to the downside at the 341. This gap in next week will get filled, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion. As you heard, never follow blindly anyone on social media, and it doesn't matter who it is, how many YouTube subscribers or how many Twitter followers they have. Always do your own due diligence. IWM, another week, another sideways move, 180 to the downside, 187 to the upside, 4 weeks of the same range, as you can see here, 180, 186, breaking up and above, 192, and then 200. On the daily, IWM does not have a gap to the downside, but 184 needs to hold, otherwise we are going towards the 181, above 190, long continuation towards 192 and 195. Bitcoin on the weekly, $3,800 resistance. As you can see, it was a very tough resistance during May of 2022. Also here, April. And now, once again, strong resistance. We have a doji after last week's massive move to the upside. This week looks like we are heading towards a doji. Doji is the most important signal of candlestick analysis of indecision, which means we need to wait. Breaking up and above, in my opinion, 45,800 to the downside, sliding back down, 26,800 needs to hold. On the daily, we can clearly see 29,900 to the downside, 31,500 to the upside, long continuation. We have all the levels to the upside, sliding back down below the 29,900. We have all the levels to the downside. Ethereum on the weekly, you know this red line because you saw previous videos in the past few weeks, few months already. This red line, the 1930 area, very tough resistance since August of 2022. Also before it, since May of 2022, it broke the downside, and from then, since then, each and every time except this one, it got rejected. Let's see where Ethereum will take us. Breaking up and above, I assume major move to the upside towards this white trend line at the 2600. Above it, we are heading towards the 3300. As you can see, we also have the Fibonacci lines, levels on the daily. Zooming into the daily, 1930 resistance, 1860 support, 1810 will be the next support together with this area, trend line, support, breaking up and above, 2030 and then 2160. SOXX, 5 weeks of sideways move above the 485. Let's clean the chart. We can take once again Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, and now you can see 485, 484 to the downside. 5 weeks is holding. Long continuation above 520, 516 to the upside. Above this green trend line, we will see 610 on the daily. Zooming in, 497 to the downside, below it 481. Long continuation above 417 towards 585 and then 582. Oil still under this white downtrend line, 66.85 is holding. Let's see, break up and above this trend line. On the weekly, we can clearly see nothing on the oil. Since May, oil is moving sideways. This is the support, the resistance. Next resistance will be the 75. Above it, only looking left, we can see that all this area will be the next resistance. Natural gas trying to bounce, making higher highs and higher lows on the weekly. If you see on the daily, we do have here this trend line that helps us to identify the higher highs and also as the resistance for the higher highs. But we also have higher lows. We can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, 270, 257 to the downside, long continuation above 288, above this white trend line. In my opinion, next will be 347. Gold, if we take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high on the weekly, we can clearly see a doji of the 618 Fibonacci level. We can be a little bit more accurate, but it's not rocket science, it's only technical analysis. Fibonacci gives us support, resistance to the future, and after this decline, doji of the 618, I am expecting some kind of a bounce towards the 1975 on the daily. We have a falling wedge if you want. So we can take Fibonacci, swing high, swing low, long continuation above, long position above 1940 together with this trend line towards 1970, and then we have all the levels of resistance to the upside. But we need to wait for a break above this trend line, above this falling wedge, at least 2-3 days staying above it, and then we will take some long positions. Apple, if until now you find anything that you like, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, will be much appreciated. Help me grow this channel. More and more people need to learn how to become their own indicators. Stop following all the lagging indicators. Start using only support, resistance, and trend lines, because support, resistance, aka Fibonacci, and trend lines are the true support resistance for price action, and more important, are the roadmap for future price action. And as we can see, Apple continuing its journey towards the 203. Above it, we are heading towards the 232. I'm assuming next week, short week, some kind of a pullback towards the 182. 185 will be very, very healthy for Apple before the next leg up. On the daily, breaking up and above this channel is a very bullish sentiment. AMD, after some kind of decline, 109 now is holding. And if you saw previous videos, 1 or 2 weeks ago, we said this double top scenario will fill the gap, and once the gap will get filled, we will make some kind of a bounce towards the 116, and maybe over there we will see decline continuation. If bulls of AMD wants to negate this double top, they need to stay up above the 116 towards the 123. And if you see on the weekly, after 2 weeks of decline, previous week, we have a doji of a Fibonacci level. Nvidia on the weekly, 380 to the downside, 440 to the upside. Long continuation above 440 towards 527, and then 666. What do you think? Where Nvidia will end up 2023? Let me know in the comments below, or any other feedback or suggestion that you might have. Any feedback will be much appreciated. On the daily, nothing much. 404, 430 to the upside, 404 to the downside. This gap at the 395 needs to get filled, and then next leg up we do have here short-term downtrend line that helps us to identify, as you can see, from resistance, now support. Breaking below this purple trend line, below the 404, we will fill the gap at the 395. Amazon, slowly, after breaking above this long-term trend line, slowly, grinding up towards the 137, above it, 146, 156, and the daily, moving sideways. And as you can see, if you zoom in and zoom out, you can clearly see how candles are forming. If you see a doji candle on the weekly, you can say that we did not have much of a movement on the daily. 127 to the downside, 131 to the upside, long continuation above towards 136 and 143. We have this trend line that helps us to identify that we are in an uptrend, breaking below 127, and below this trend line we are heading towards 124 and then 120 to the downside. Follow price, use levels and trend lines as your risk management and as your guide for future price action. Now let's talk about Google. As you can see, doji after doji, doji after doji since May. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dojis in a row. Something big is coming to Google, but we don't know if it will be to the downside or to the upside. We need to be prepared for both sides. Short continuation, downside continuation below 118 towards the gap at the 113. In my opinion, this gap needs to get filled, and it will get filled before the next leg up. And it's also the 618 Fibonacci retracement on the daily. Stay tuned for Google. Big move is coming. Tesla, sorry, trend lines from resistance to support, 3 weeks support. Now let's see continuation above 268, then we are going towards 313, 381, and then back to all-time highs, and maybe by the end of 2023, 490. You heard it first here. Fibonacci traders, subscribe, like, share with friends. Don't be shy. It's only 1 click away. Tesla, trend lines are the roadmap for future price action. Tesla on the daily, you can see short term, maybe a bull flag, maybe a bear flag. No one knows. All we have to do, sit tight and wait. Breaking above this red line, we are heading towards this green trend line. Above it, we are heading towards this green trend line. You want to be more accurate? Use Fibonacci. Swing low, swing high, and there you have it. To the downside, 250 together with this green trend line needs to hold. Above this red line and the 275, we are heading towards the 310. Above this area, we are heading 360. Microsoft, another beast. And as long as Microsoft and Apple are going up, do not short the market. Microsoft, 4 weeks, moving sideways. 324 is holding. 345 is the resistance, because it was a resistance over here. Not surprising. We have a big battle between bulls and bears on Microsoft. If you can see on the daily, 340, then 351. Above it, in my opinion, 385. Breaking below 332, we are heading towards this gap over here. And then we have this gap over here at the 314. Netflix is next. Doji sandwich on Netflix. Next will be 463. Look left. 463 from resistance to a very major support. Strong support until this support broke during January of 2022. And now it's heading towards this red trend line. Above it, we are heading towards this yellow trend line. And above it, we can take Fibonacci. We can take Fibonacci on the weekly. Let's do it like this. Swing low, swing high. above 450. We're heading towards 494, 458, and then back to 700 all-time highs. Netflix have this gap at the daily, 420. It needs to get filled. Netflix needs to fill this gap. It needs to retest this purple trend line before the next leg up. Breaking down and under, we have a double top scenario which lead Netflix towards this gap at the 380. More than 80% of all gaps will get filled, and the sooner the better. Shopify, very tough price action to swing or day trade on Shopify. So for now, we are out of Shopify position. We held some Shopify during last week, but we are out of it because we have an indecision, long indecision on Shopify since this week during May 1st. Since then, 2 months of nothing, really nothing on Shopify. We can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, 62, 58 to the downside, 68 to the upside. Breaking up and above, we are heading towards the 74 and 84, 85 area. Meta, bulls of Meta are resting. Took some rest during previous week, and as you can see, 290 to the upside, tough resistance. We can take Fibonacci to help us to identify where Meta is most likely go next. 256 to the downside is the support, 288, 289, 290 if you want is the resistance, strong resistance. 2 weeks of strong resistance, breaking up and above 336, and then all-time highs 384. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends. Don't forget to check the links in the description below for more educational resources. Hit the notification bell because more videos incoming during this long weekend. Until the next video, enjoy your weekend.